Thanksgiving morning, Mom called. We reserved a kids' table for your brother's kids, but yours aren't welcome. Dad added, it's best if you don't come. I paused their $2,300 rent payment and stayed home. Hours later, 81 missed calls and a 1:33 a.m. voicemail from Dad left me speechless. Here's the thing. I never thought my own family would stab me in the back. But then came a Thanksgiving morning call that shattered my world and finally woke me up to the brutal truth. To them, I was just a walking ATM, and my own kids weren't even worth a seat at the table. My name is Grant, and I'm 33. I'm the oldest kid, the steady one, the janitor at the high school on the edge of town. Night shift, bleach on my hands, keys clinking on my belt, and a thermos I snagged at a yard sale for $3. I've got two little humans. Mia, my 8-year-old artist who draws the most incredible foxes, and Theo, my 5-year-old, who calls every single bird a chicken. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. Some days it smells like warm detergent, other days, burnt socks. In my family, I was always the reliable one. That's code for I show up, I fix things, and I always pay when stuff breaks. Thanksgiving morning, 7:14 a.m. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree while I was trying to sculpt lopsided turkey pancakes. It was Mom. I wiped my hands on a dish towel, my heart already bracing itself. Grant, she chirped, that thin, syrupy sweet tone she always used right before a request. Quick thing about today, we reserved a kids' table for your brother's kids. Cute, right? But there's no space for yours. I froze. The pancake batter dripped, thick and slow, off my spatula. No space for my kids. It's just, she rushed on. There are 8 little ones already. And Mia gets particular, with food touching. It just makes everyone so tense. My throat felt dry. I swallowed hard. So where would Mia and Theo sit? A beat of silence. Then, my dad's voice, booming over speakerphone like he'd been hovering, waiting for his cue. We talked it through, son. We all agreed. It's best if you don't come. Keeps the peace. Mia tugged at my sleeve, her eyes wide. Is Nana excited for my fox drawing? I quickly covered the phone's mic. 1 second, bug. My heart ached for her innocence. Back to the phone. Best if we don't come? I repeated, trying to keep my voice even. Don't take it personal, Dad said, his tone dismissive. You understand how family dynamics are. I stared at the kitchen calendar, a sticky note still taped there. Bring rolls plus pie. I'd already paid the bakery. I'd already swapped my shift. Family dynamics. I took a slow, deep breath, just like my counselor once taught me. Understood, I said. Good, Dad replied, the word landing flat, like a door latch clicking shut. We'll make you a plate. Don't, I said, and hung up. My hand was shaking. Mia watched me, her little face etched with confusion. Are we still going? I flipped the burner off. Steam rose and faded, carrying away the last shred of my composure. We're making our own Thanksgiving, I said, forcing a smile. But something in my chest cracked, like thin ice giving way. I set my phone face down. It buzzed again. I didn't look. I buttered pancakes, carefully cut one into a fox, and tried not to think about the folding table in my parents' dining room, the place cards Mom writes in neat loops, the tiny paper turkeys from the dollar store Theo would have loved. I told myself I'd feel better after breakfast. I didn't. Here's the part people never see because it doesn't fit into a cute family photo. I've been paying my parents' rent for 2 years and 11 months. $2,300 due on the first, autopay. It started as a temporary bridge. Dad lost hours. Then he couldn't catch up. Then their landlord raised the rent. Every single month, I told myself it was the last time. Every month, I watched that little green checkmark pop up in my banking app like some twisted ritual. I couldn't stop. Mom would say, you're the steady one, Grant. Dad would add, it's what family does. My brother, Brett, he'd text, you're a legend, man. Drinks on me when I'm up. Brett has 3 kids with 2 different women and a new business idea every quarter. He also has the password to my Netflix, my Prime, my old gym membership, and apparently, to my parents' calendar, because his events always took priority. People hear janitor, and they think I'm drowning. I'm not. I have pride. I love clean hallways, gleaming floors. I love the way the school building hums after midnight. I like being the guy who knows which light switch works which stubborn fixture. But I'm not a bank. And every extra hour I worked, scrubbing gym floors in summer, cleaning up after graduation in June, tackling the moldy storage room nobody else wanted. I worked with a number burning in my head. 2300, 2300, 2300. When Mia was born, I sold my guitar to buy her car seat. When Theo arrived, I learned to rebuild a vacuum from YouTube tutorials. When my parents realized I knew how to stretch $1, they stretched me. You owe us, Mom said once, not angry, just matter of fact. We kept a roof over your head. I was a kid, I replied. Exactly, she said, as if that proved everything. Brett floated from job to job. When he landed at the auto shop, he posted selfies in greasy gloves, captioning them grind time. When he quit 3 weeks later, it was a meme about toxic workplaces. He calls me Big G when he wants something. He called me just Grant when he told a cousin I was overdramatic about money. Last Thanksgiving, I bought the turkey and the ham. Mom even texted me a list of brands. Don't get the cheap cranberries, she wrote, like she was doing me a favor. I smiled, bought the good ones. I brought extra ice and a roll of trash bags because the year before, we'd run out, and Dad had quipped, well, you're the janitor. In September, Mom asked if I could float Brett half the childcare for his weekend, so he could attend a networking event. I sent her $120 and told myself it was for the kids. In October, she called at 10 p.m., the car insurance is late. Your father forgot, she said, the way you'd tell someone the mail was delayed. I paid it. I was putting off my own dentist appointment, chewing only on my right side. When I pushed back, they tightened the script. You're being selfish, Mom would say. You think you're better than everyone? Dad would ask. Bro, money comes back, Brett texted. Vibes don't. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, Mom called from the baking aisle. We're doing name cards this year, she said. Brett's kids are the cutest. They'll love it. Mia overheard and made her own place card with glitter glue and a wonky heart over the eye. We put it on the fridge. Look, Dad. I'll sit there, she'd say, pointing to our fridge as if the door was a table waiting for her. I told her we'd all be together. I believed it, because believing hurt less than admitting your family has a favorite word for you. Resource. Small rips showed up before the call. Mom forgot to add Mia and Theo to the group photo plan, then wrote, we'll squeeze them in. Brett posted in the family chat. Kids' table is going to be lit. I replied with a thumbs up and a turkey emoji, sitting on my hands, my stomach twisting. The night before Thanksgiving, I worked a short shift, cleaning the gym after the pep rally. On my way out, Coach slipped me a foil-wrapped plate. You got family tomorrow, he asked. Yeah, I said, a hollow echo in my voice. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Bring the rolls and pie, pecan if you can. And don't be late this time. Last year, I'd been late because the checkout line was stacked to the back. He'd mentioned it every holiday since. At home, I set the alarm for 6:30, pulled the bakery receipt from my wallet, and stuck it under a magnet, a plastic chicken Theo loves. He thinks it's a turkey. Gobble, he says, and it's funny every time. Thanksgiving morning happened. No space for yours. It's best if you don't come. You understand? I hung up. I tried to make Fox pancakes again. Mia smiled at the first one and asked if Nana would like it. Nana loves everything you make, I told her. It wasn't a lie. Nana loves in a big, general way. She just loves the wrong things more. I spent the morning mixing batter, swallowing a fury that tasted like metal. At 10:02, Brett texted me a photo of his twins at the kids' table. Paper crowns ask you. Tongue stained orange from soda. Family, he wrote, 3 heart emojis trailing after it. I watched that word sit on my cracked screen like it had nothing to do with me. At 10:23, the group chat dinged. Aunt Lisa. Can someone pick up extra ice? Dad, Grant can. Mom, he's coming later. Brett, LOL. True. I didn't reply. I put my phone in the cutlery drawer and shut it gently, like I was tucking a sleeping animal into a dark, safe place. At noon, Mia asked if we should dress up. Yes, I said. She wore her Fox shirt. Theo wore his dinosaur tie. I put on the only shirt I iron, the one with the stubborn collar that always tilts. We ate at our small table. I set a paper towel under the bowl like a table runner, because Mia said it looked fancy. Right before we ate, Mom called again. I didn't pick up. I heard the voicemail ding. I didn't listen. At 1:33 a.m., that's later. That's when the lights were off and the building across the street was quiet and my notifications had stacked like bricks I couldn't carry anymore. But back then, it was just noon, and I was still telling myself that being excluded was a misunderstanding that could be cleaned with the right mop. At 10:07 p.m., I opened the cutlery drawer, pulled out my phone, and saw it. 14 missed calls, 11 texts, and a photo of a long table covered in casseroles, green beans, sweet potatoes, those canned cranberry slices wobbling in perfect circles. Dad, where are you? Bring the rolls. Mom. Grant, this is childish. Brett. Bro, don't make it weird. I typed and erased 3 drafts. Then I did the thing I do at work when a spill spreads in every direction. I drew a line. In the family chat, I wrote, "We're not coming. You told me there's no space for my kids. There's space here." I attached a photo of Mia and Theo at our little table, paper towel runner and all. No guilt, no pleading. Just fact. A minute later, my phone rang. Dad. I declined. Mom rang. Declined. Brett rang. Declined. Then the messages started turning ugly. Mom, you're punishing us. Classic. Dad. Your attitude is exhausting. Brett. Bro, you're blowing up the whole vibe. I typed. I've covered your rent for 35 months. I've bought the past 3 holiday dinners. I have the receipts. Today, I'm feeding my kids. Silence. Then a rush of indignant texts. Mom, we never asked you to. Dad, this is a day for family, not for accounting. Brett, did you just say receipts? I didn't answer. I opened my banking app. My thumb hovered over the toggle I'd never dared touch. Auto-pay parents' rent. I stared at it for a long moment. It felt like standing at the end of a hallway with the lights off, knowing where the switch is, but not sure what lights will show when you flip it. I closed the app without touching it. Not now, I told myself. Asterisk not out of anger. Eat with the kids. Watch the parade. Take a walk. Decide when your hands aren't shaking. Asterisk we ate. Theo asked if the giant balloon turkey was heavier than our car. Mia asked if Nana was mad. Nana is busy, I said. By evening, the parade rerun had given way to a football game nobody in our house cared about. I made cocoa. We built a blanket fort. We fell asleep in it, all 3 of us, under string lights I'd picked up from the clearance bin in July. At 9:18 p.m., my phone vibrated on the coffee table. Then 9:34. Then 10:02. I kept ignoring it. At 11:47, a text from Aunt Lisa. You okay? I thumbed back. We're good. Thanks. At 12:51 a.m., I woke to a buzzing phone. So many missed calls the lock screen font looked smaller to make them fit. 81. My stomach went cold. At 1:33 a.m., a new voicemail appeared from Dad. I stared at it a long time. Then I pressed play. His voice was low, slurred, or tired, I couldn't tell. You listen to me, he said. You think you're some hero because you mop floors and throw money around? You're not family if you don't fall in line. You hear me? Not family. The room felt very quiet. The string lights hummed. Theo snorted a little. Mia's hand was curled around my sleeve. Not family. I didn't cry. Something else happened, like a latch sliding into place. The line was drawn. I didn't have to argue anymore, or explain, or produce a single receipt. I didn't have to give. I just had to stop. I sat up, careful not to wake the kids, and opened the banking app. The toggle was still there, small and green, like a lie. I tapped it. Autopay paused. A prompt popped up. Are you sure? I pressed yes. It wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity, clean and simple, like the first pass of a mop across a muddy floor. When the water shows you what the tile actually looks like. Morning smelled like cocoa leftovers and blanket dust. Sun through the blinds made thin bars across Theo's dinosaur tie on the floor. I brewed coffee in the chipped machine that sighs like an old dog when it pours. Mia stirred, hair stuck to her cheek. Is it today again? She asked, which is her way of asking if things are normal. It's today, I said. We're going to the park. My phone lay face down. I turned it over and skimmed. More texts, piled in a weird tower. Mom, call me ASAP. Dad, we need to talk about consequences. Brett, you know the landlord is calling, right? You better not be screwing them like that. I didn't answer. I made scrambled eggs. Theo called them cloud eggs. He ate 2 and asked for another. I felt the guilt flare, my reflex for years, and watched it go out like a match in wind. I didn't owe them an explanation. They owed my kids a seat at a table. At 9:22 a.m., a number I didn't recognize called. Voicemail. Hi, this is Jose from Maple Gardens Apartments. We're following up on the rent for Unit 2B. His voice was polite, tired. I imagined his desktop full of sticky notes. I wrote the number on a paper and set it aside. At 10:15, Aunt Lisa again. They're scrambling, she said. Your dad is loud. Your mom keeps saying it's a misunderstanding. I'm not taking sides, but I see you. I called her back. I don't want you in the middle, I said. I've been in the middle since your brother learned to speak, she said, a small, sad laugh escaping her. Are the kids okay? They're fine, I said, and realized it was true. They were playing, building a couch cushion boat. She lowered her voice. Your dad said not family, didn't he? I didn't answer. She exhaled. Okay then. You do what you need to do. At 11:03, Mom called again. I answered. Finally, she said, stretching the word. We had a scare this morning. Your father thought you'd. Well, never mind. Listen, about yesterday, everyone was overwhelmed. You know how Brett's kids get. It was better to keep your two out of the chaos. Better for who? I asked. For everyone, she insisted. You overreacted and now the rent. This is petty. It's money I make cleaning other people's messes after midnight, I said. It's not petty. We counted on you, she cried. We built our budget around you. I know, I said. That's the problem. She inhaled, a sharp warning. You're going to regret this. Blood is blood. I looked at Mia. She was sticking stickers to the floor, counting them. 1 fox, 2 fox, 3 fox. Theo was giving his stuffed dinosaur a pep talk about bravery. Blood is blood, I thought. And then I thought about that 1:33 a.m. voicemail and decided definitions can change. We're done, I said. When you're ready to talk about my kids like they are part of this family, you can call. Until then, talk to the landlord. She hung up with a scoff. A minute later, Brett. Bro, what did you do? They're freaking out. You can't just stop. That's wild. I typed. We can talk when you delete my kids' names from the list you never wrote. He replied with 10 crying laughing emojis. Then, you're making this about the kids like a manipulator. Classic. I put the phone in a drawer again. At noon, we walked to the park. The sky was brittle blue, the kind that makes everything sharp. The swing squeaked. A dad in a bomber jacket pushed a toddler, saying higher, in a voice that carried 10 ways of saying love. Mia drew a fox in the dirt with a stick. Theo collected leaves, naming each one Kevin. On the way home, we stopped at the corner store. Ms. Rivera behind the counter smiled at my kids. You 3 doing your own Thanksgiving? She asked. Yeah, I said. Good, she said, the best kind. Back home, I checked my work email. Custodian schedule updated. Mr. Patel asked if I could cover a Sunday floor wax. I said yes. I like waxing floors. They shine proof back at you. Effort in, result out. They never tell you you're not family when you do a clean job. By evening, the second wave hit. Extended family. Cousin Jake. They're saying you abandoned them. Uncle Mike. You always had a temper. A message from a number saved as Brett's other number. This is Shay. He can't afford diapers now because of you. Hope you're happy. I didn't reply. I opened my notes app and started typing. Dates, amounts, screenshots of transfers labeled rent, car, groceries. I wasn't building a case for them. I was building one for me, to look at when the doubt came, like a tide. Around 8:40, Maple Gardens called again. I answered. Jose, I said. Hi, he cleared his throat. Look, we had the payment on auto. It bounced. Your father called and said you'd fix it. I won't, I said. But I can't imagine it's pleasant to deal with him. I'm sorry. He was quiet. People think landlords are villains, he said, finally, tired. I just need the books to balance. I get it, I said. I mop glitter out of gym mats for a living. He laughed once, surprised. Okay, he said. Thanks for letting me know. I'll talk to them. After we hung up, I stood at the window and watched the laundromat sign blink. Open, then a black square, then open again. In the glass, I could see my reflection with 2 small heads leaned into my sides. We looked like a unit. We looked like a family. Saturday morning, a long message from Dad. If your goal was to humiliate us, congrats. Everyone knows you left us in the lurch. Your aunt wouldn't stop defending you, which was inappropriate. We didn't say there was no space. We said logistics were tricky. You twisted it. I replayed the voicemail from 1:33 a.m. to remind myself I hadn't imagined anything. A half hour later, another message, shorter, meaner. You're not family if you don't fall in line. The exact same sentence. Sober, in daylight. He wanted it on record. Good. Me too. Sunday night. Aunt Lisa sent a photo. Mom and Dad's dining room. Chairs pulled far from the table. Place cards from yesterday still on the plates. One card, close up, Brett's kids. The tiny paper turkey menacing in the corner. No cards with Mia or Theo's names at all. I felt the old sadness hit. Then pass. I screenshotted it and put it with the rest. Not to post, not to blast. To remember. Work on Monday was quiet. Hallways echo when the kids are off. I buffed the gym until I could see the lights above me mirrored in the floor like stars. Neat rows. Nobody jostling anyone else. Each light with its own space. I clicked my keys against my belt and thought about space. Tables, voices, boundaries you tape to the floor so people don't cross and call it a misunderstanding. By Wednesday, the noise started to fade. Fewer calls, shorter texts. Brett's last message, whatever, man. You'll come crawling back. It read like someone who'd put a quarter in a machine and wanted the candy to drop, then stood there shaking it when nothing fell. Thursday, Ms. Rivera slipped 2 churros into the bag with our milk. For the artists, she said, nodding at the Fox drawings Mia now tapes to everything we own. Friday, I cashed out a vacation day I never use and bought a secondhand dining table from a guy on the north side. It had 2 chips and a wobble. I fixed the wobble. I put 3 place settings out and made name cards in my blocky print. Mia, Theo, Dad. Mia added a Fox sticker to mine and said, now it's perfect. Saturday, Aunt Lisa called. Your mother is telling people you're in a phase, she said. I'm in a life, I replied. She laughed for real that time, the kind that crinkles your eyes. Sunday, I wrote an email to myself with the subject line, rules. I typed 3 things. 1, if you don't respect my kids, you don't get access to me. 2, I don't fund disrespect. 3, I won't argue with people who rewrite the past while I'm still standing in it. I pinned it. When the old reflex reached for my wallet, I opened that email and read it out loud. On the 1st of the next month, the green checkmark didn't appear. The world didn't end. The only thing that ended was a spell I'd been under for a long time. The kind that makes you forget to count yourself. A week after everything, I was stripping wax in the science wing. It's loud work. The machine hums, and the chemical smell climbs up your nose. Mr. Patel stopped in the doorway, raised 2 fingers in a salute, and said, floors look good, Grant. Thanks, I said. The hum hid the rest, which was fine. I'm not great at receiving praise, but it landed. At lunch, I sat on the back steps and ate a ham sandwich that was 80% bread. The sky was low and gray. I checked my phone. No new messages from my parents. One from Aunt Lisa. A photo of a plain table at her place with 3 plates and a caption, come Sunday. I typed back, yes, the kids will bring foxes. That night, Mia fell asleep with a glue stick in her hand. Theo, very serious, said, I made space for Nana. If she says sorry. And pointed to an empty square he'd drawn between 2 foxes on a page. Children do grace in big, clumsy handfuls. They leave room. I'm learning to leave room too, but not a seat I have to pay for and pretend I'm grateful for. I saved Dad's 1:33 a.m. voicemail. I don't play it. I don't need to. The words are branded in. Not family. He meant it as a knife. It worked like a key. Here's what I know now. In simple words I can repeat when I'm tired and the old scripts rattle in the drawer with the cutlery. Family isn't a table you're allowed to sit at only if you foot the bill, smile at the insults, and let your kids wait in the hallway. Family isn't a group chat that explodes when you stop sending money. Family isn't understood, said through clenched teeth at 7:14 a.m. Family is Mia sticking a fox on my name card and saying, now it's perfect. Family is Theo naming every leaf Kevin and insisting Kevin is brave. Family is Aunt Lisa saying, I see you, and then actually seeing. Family is a rule you make in your own handwriting and tape to the inside of your wallet so your hands remember. I don't fund disrespect. If my parents ever want to sit at our table, they can. They know the price. It's not $2,300. It's not a pie. It's not diapers for Brett or a new excuse or a quiet apology that trails into a request. The price is a real apology to 2 small humans who colored their own place cards and were told there was no space for them. The price is Dad saying, I was wrong, without an asterisk. The price is Mom saying, we won't do that again, and then not doing it again. Maybe that won't happen. Maybe Brett will keep posting. Maybe my parents will keep a seat open for resources and never notice it stays empty. I can live with that. I've got keys. I've got a table. I've got Fox stickers. On Thursday, I picked the kids up from school, and we stopped at the bakery. Mia pointed to a pecan pie and said, "Can we still have this?" "Yes," I said. We ate it at home. 3 forks, no ceremony. I cut the slices messy. Nobody corrected me. Before bed, I stood in the kitchen with the light off. The city noise muffled by laundry machines downstairs. I thought about all the months I pressed send because love sounded like bills paid on time. Because Reliable One felt like a personality instead of a leash. I thought about not doing that anymore and felt something widen in my chest. I'm Grant. I mop floors until they shine. I make Fox pancakes badly. I pick up glitter with blue tape because that's the only thing that works. I am the father of 2 kids who deserve more than no space. I am not a resource. I am not a punishment. I am not the villain in someone's story about logistics. I'm the guy who paused a payment at 1:33 a.m. and started a better life at 1:34. I won't let them use me again. I won't teach my kids that love means pain to be tolerated. If my family wants me, they can knock. If they don't, fine. We've got plenty to do. Tables to build, floors to shine, leaves named Kevin to collect. Dad, Mia said from the doorway, her voice sleepy. Tomorrow, can we make the Fox pancakes again? Yeah, I said. We'll save Nana a seat on the drawing. Okay, she said, satisfied, and padded back to bed. I put the bank card back in my wallet, shut the app, and turned off the kitchen light. The apartment went soft and dark. The laundry downstairs hummed like a faraway ocean. I stood there a second longer, then went to tuck my kids in. And that was it. Not revenge. Not a scene. Just a boundary you could see from the doorway. Neat and bright, like a freshly buffed hallway. A place where my kids and I live, not where we beg to be let in.